de facto also offers the current affairs
weekly current
comparison.
affair that we send.
Weekly current affairs compilation. That is very helpful because at one place you're getting all the. I think that saves the aspirants' time. I refer to them quite a bit. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible. Am I audible?
Yes,
Am
yes,
I?
yes, yes. Totally fine. Totally fine. Okay, so it was quite long. She could not get hold of you. You must be busy, right? A lot of
Yes, sir.
things that you have. That is why I also told her, don't rush her. Let her take time, right? And once she's free, we will have this. We will have. Okay, so Anmol, so this I do every year, right? You must have seen, others
Yes, sir.
every year also, right? I will be asking you a series of questions. Mostly it is intended for the people who are, preparing for law option. So in order to guide them how to go about it. And also I will be asking you subject-wise strategy, right? Law, only law, right? We'll be talking only about law. But how did you prepare? And ultimately, we'll go for interview, what questions were asked, etc., etc. Okay. So that is how, 15, 20 minutes we will round it. Okay.
All right, sir.
How it will function. Okay, Anmol, congratulations. And first, tell me about yourself.
Yes, sir. Firstly, thank you so much. And my name is Anmol Rathore, right? And I belong to Bhadrava in district Doda in Jammu and Kashmir. And I'm currently serving under the Jammu and Kashmir Administrative Service. I'm currently undergoing training for the same. I did my BA LLB honors from Gujarat National Law University. This was my third attempt. Last year, I could not get an interview call. I missed the interview call by 2 marks. And this was my third attempt.
Okay. So you are a recent graduate, right? I mean, recent in the sense by UPSC standard, you are very recent graduate, right? When did you started preparing for law optional? I mean, UPSC in general, not a specific law optional. Were you in college or after you passed out?
So during college, I could not prepare much, but I did study the subjects which are asked in UPSC a bit more thoroughly than the rest of the subjects. So I knew that I had to keep these subjects, I had to read them pretty well. But if we talk about proper preparation for UPSC, it started somewhere around the ending of 2021. I was not fully prepared, although I did give my first attempt in 2021 itself. It was I think it was a mistake because I was not prepared at all. I just gave it for the sake of it. So proper preparation started after the 2021 prelims. And specifically talking about law optional, I prepared it only in 2022. I started in 2022.
The whole thing that you wanted to go for civil service came after your college exam was passed out, right? I mean,
Yes, so
after college you passed
the
out.
preparation started after graduation. Yes, sir.
That no, in fact, I was telling someone that if our law candidate starts in third, fourth year, right, so that will be much more better, right? Because people who are in Delhi, specifically, DU colleges, 3-year course, 4-year course, right? So they start in second year itself, right? So they get a time advantage in that. Okay, still. Second thing that you were already in service, right? So how did you manage time? I mean, obviously this I know that result came very recently, but still you are, was in training, right? So how did you manage time with regard to that?
Right, sir. So I had to write my UPSC mains of this year after the result had come. So it was quite a bit overwhelming for me also because at the same time, after the result, we see the euphoria, the celebrations that go on. And so I could not really concentrate on my mains preparation. But still, I think after a week of celebrations and everything, I decided that now is the time to focus on my mains preparation. And thereafter, I just told my parents that please don't disturb me and let me concentrate on my written examination. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Okay, and then let us move towards the law subjects, right? So, how did you prepare for the constitutional law, Manmohan?
Sir, for constitutional law, firstly, my first source was there's this subject-wise compilation of PYQs that de facto publishes. So that was my go-to for the for all the subjects. So I would just refer to those firstly to understand the types of questions that are being asked. And I could see that there's a lot of repetition of questions and concepts. So that was my first line of preparation. And thereafter, the sources that I referred to were would be the AKJ and Dukki that is very popular among all the aspirants.
That's
So
very clear.
that is what even I refer because it explains those concepts pretty concisely. And for certain topics which are to be read in more detail and which I wanted to understand better, I refer to V.N. Shukla or MP Jain. For instance, there's this fundamental rights topic, Article 14, 15, 16. These are a few topics that I wanted to study in depth. So for them, I refer to these books also.
And what about international law? How did you study international law?
So international law, again, I think I was pretty much interested in international law during my graduation also. So I had certain notes from that time also. And apart from that, I referred to, I think there's this book, I can't really recall the name. I think it's by Gurdeep Singh.
Hmm.
I referred to that book for international law, and also again S.N. Shukla. I think S.N. Kapoor or S.K.
Yes,
Kapoor. I think that's,
SK
yeah.
Kapoor, SK Kapoor, yes.
S.K. Kapoor, yes, sir. I referred to that book also. Also, for certain cases of international law, I refer to internet. I refer extensively to internet because I think there is one blog. It is very popular by some Gun
Rujuta something, yes. I have studied
Romantika
earlier.
Gunratne.
Yes, yes, very correct.
Yes, sir. I think I used to refer to that blog during my graduation also, and here again I revisited it for all the cases. And lastly, I think during our preparation, these wars were happening, and United Nations was pretty much in news, ICC, ICJ. So I would just go back to the current affairs and I would refer to all the recent happenings just to keep a tab on all of these.
Or that can be used as an example in the answer also, right? That fetch you additional 2 marks, right?
Right, so yes.
Okay, so let us move to paper two, right? So in paper two, how did you prepare for the law of crime?
Right, sir. For law of crimes, again, I refer to the Dukki for criminal law. That was my go-to source. And apart from that, I extensively memorized the Bear Act because I wanted to learn all the provisions which are important. That would be it. And apart from that, the standard books that we used to refer during our graduation, I would just refer to any of the book and then memorize certain case laws from there. Nothing much. I think Dukki was the go-to source.
Okay, two were the good. Acha, did you write in this time that the BNS also respective sections, or you simply skipped it? Because I don't think that was passed at that time, right? I mean, when we were writing it.
Yes, sir. I did not write it. No.
This time I'm advising a student, right? At least in bracket, write the previous, the
Yes, sir.
corresponding sections that have there. Okay. What about contract? How did you study it?
So for contracts, again, I refer to the Dukki, and also there's the standard book by Avtar Singh.
Hmm.
For certain provisions, I refer to that also. There are certain topics for mercantile law that I use the internet for that topics, for those topics. And yes, sir.
And what about that specific contract, that we study almost whole semester, but here it is just one topic, sales of goods, NI Act. How did you handle that?
So for NIA Act, what I did was I referred to the PYQ compilation that you sent, right? That is there on the website. So I would just jot down the topics, and then I referred to the recent case laws for those. For instance, Bar and Bench and Live Law, they publish the case laws and everything, which is the important dictum for all the cases. I used to refer to that, and then certain online blogs. I used to refer to those also. I think that is all. Like I
Okay.
use internet extensively for these topics.
Okay. Oh, obviously, that I understand. Okay. What about the CLD portion, Anmol? How did you handle that?
Yes, I think this was one of the most challenging topics because when we look at it in the syllabus, we think it's very less.
Yeah.
ये जल्दी हो जाएगा. But when I started preparation, I realized that I could just not complete it. It's very expansive. So for this time around, last time I could not do it very well. This time around, so I had subscribed to De facto's
Or
channel. So I got that compilation for all CLD topics that gave me a bare idea of what all we need to study. But to study it more in certain depth, I refer to internet because we see there are, for instance, if we talk about IPR, we just type IPR landmark cases and all the important cases and their
question
judgments there
comes
are
up.
there. So that is how I went about it.
Okay. Obviously, the marks are not out yet, right? So we don't know, in which part, paper one or paper two, you got, the highest marks. Or let us see. Let the mark come. I think cutoff is out, right? Cutoff. Someone told me that it is out.
Yes, so the cutoff is out.
Okay, so now let me little bit ask you a generic question, right? The first one of them is that did you combine the study of GS paper 2 with law optional? Because I have two category of feedback, right? First category of feedback is that write law optional type answer in GS paper. get good mark. Some feedback is that no, if you write law type answer in GS paper 2, you don't get good mark, right? So, I mean, what approach did you follow?
So I think I studied law. I gave priority to law optional over GS2 because for the constitution part especially, I did not prepare it separately. I will be very honest about that. I just prepared my optional because I knew constitution will constitute a huge part of my law optional one also. So I did not want to give it separate time for GS. But coming to the answers, what I observed was from last mains it very law oriented questions are being asked even in GS. They are directly asking about the
Just
judgments.
with case law. I saw.
Yes, they are directly asking about the case laws. So I think many people do think that it gives an edge to the law optional candidates, but I think those are very general questions. They could be answered by anybody, but I think that did help me. I won't say I wrote completely law optional type answers in GS, but still, I think my preparation of optional helped me there. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that is it. Okay, now I want you to, sort of give a very mini type of strategy that suppose someone is in a fourth or fifth year, right? And he don't or he or she don't want to take any coaching or something like that, right? So, what advice do you think you should give them?
So I think one should. So speaking from my experience, I wasn't very serious about my UPSC preparation during my graduation. But I think if somebody is very serious about their preparation, they should start preparing in fourth or fifth year because that will actually help them save time or maybe save attempts also. So because most of the subjects that we study during our law school, constitution, international law, if we make our notes properly there and then it will save a lot of time here because the 3 months between prelims and mains it's not enough in my opinion to really
Revise it.
perfect our optionals preparation. So if you have a time you should definitely start preparing during the graduation itself. I think priority should be given to paper 1 because that is in my opinion highly scoring and the topics are also very interesting. So my would be my tips would be that please follow the dukis because I think they are concise and they give all the information they're very exam oriented. So one should refer to those. Apart from that, keep referring to current affairs. I think de facto also offers the current
That
affairs
weekly current
compilation,
affair that we send.
weekly affairs compilation. That is very helpful because at one place you're getting all the optional
My
related current.
experience is used, right? I simply go through the same, resources that you are telling, right? Live law, SSC Observer, and whatever
Right.
that is relevant to our syllabus, I simply, write about it.
I think that saves the aspirants time. I refer to them quite a bit. And even if you don't want to refer, then you please Google all the judgments and the current affairs relating to law
Any
because a lot
particular
is happening.
website apart from Live Law and SSC Observer that I mean, that you can suggest that aspirant can go for law related?
Sir, I think live law, SCC, Supreme Court Observer, SCC online. I think because so many aspirants might not want to pay for the subscription of these websites. So I think SCC online or SCC blog, that would be a great option for them because it is quite free. It is free. I think the blog is free. So I used to refer to that. Also, additionally, I think the Hindus explained column, the Indian Express's explained column and the Hindus in Hindu also has a column now, just
Yeah.
context or something of that sort. They also are explaining these current and contemporary law related topics in much detail. So I think that is also quite helpful, even for law aspirants and also for others. So I think that would be helpful. Apart from that, I would just like to say one thing for IPR, because IPR is also very important. So for these, there's this spicy IP
Website, yeah,
website.
yes, yes.
Right, that and also Nishit Desai and very other many other
They publish
law
very,
firms.
nice booklets, yeah.
They have compendiums and everything. These can be referred to because all of this material is freely available. One just needs to search for it and you will find it easily. So I think these are a few things that I used.
Okay. Now, one thing, Anmol, I will request you that, you also make a Telegram channel, right? I requested, from last 3 years, I'm requesting the same thing to every people, right? I think Kritika also made before that. I think that top 31, Avinash, he also, I think, made, right?
Yes.
So I will also request you to make a Telegram channel, right? And make available all your notes, at least the PDF one, right? And
Yes.
now also send me that. I will also, send it in our group that, okay, so we'll be helping you. Because see, what happens that no matter how much I tell you, people the same thing, right? But if it is coming from you, it have more weightage, and they feel like okay, now it is I can do it much more better, or they feel much more confident about it, right? Okay.
All
So in
right,
that
sir.
sense. Okay, the last thing, any last message? Because sometime, your journey also, if it is the third attempt, right? So obviously it is almost 4 years, right? I mean, the whole cycle, right? So 4 years is also not a less time. So
Yes, sir.
how did you kept yourself motivated, or sort of support system, or how did you go about it?
Sir, as you rightly said, 4 years is quite a long time, and there were times I did not feel motivated. I felt like giving up. So, because after each failure, your confidence decreases a bit. So, that's what used to happen to me also. And I think, but what kept me going was that the idea with which I started, the why, which we talk about it, the reason why I started. So, I would just go back. I had actually written it down on my notepad, so I would just go and refer to it why I had started. I think that really helped me because there were certain personal reasons which I would not like to mention, but certainly
Yeah.
everybody has a why. So we should just keep going back to it. That really motivates us. And apart from that, talking about support system, my family has been the greatest support system that I could have asked for. So I think they really motivated me. They had given me full freedom to prepare for my exams without any stress, without any pressure to be financially independent or do something. So I think I am privileged that way because they gave me that freedom to prepare for my civil services examination. So I'm really thankful to them. Apart from that, I would also say that my friends have also been a great source of support because they
Kritika
always.
was your senior or batchmate?
So Kritika was my super senior. I think she's a pass out in 2018. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
She's from the batch of 2018. Yes.
Okay. So this year, I think you're one of the friend, one of your friend, I think again passed. I think Vijeta, right? She's also from your college.
So yes, sir, and she's also from Kritika's batch. She's
Acha,
also
acha,
graduating
she used
pass
to
out.
be. Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So one more thing I wanted to ask, right, is that suppose a person, right, law optional candidate, generally have this query flying around that it is not a scoring option, so and so forth, right? So what do you think about that? I mean, anything that you want to convey that see that is not the case or that is the case? I mean, either way, what do you think?
Right. So I think even I was told this by many people that your optional is not scoring. You might not be able to make it through the examination if you keep this optional. I was suggested other optionals also. But I think why I kept this optional was because I had confidence that I have studied this for 5 years. Someone who has studied this an optional for a subject for 5 years would know something about it rather than picking up a completely new subject which I might not know the depths of. So that was one reason why I stuck to it. And I think one should really have belief um,
Strength.
in their own interests and capabilities rather than following the crowd blindly. So a person who is studying law and who has interest in law, they should definitely stick to it. It is a very good optional. I'm not sure of the score, but seeing the past year's toppers, we've seen they do score decently. And not only the optional, but I think the study of law also helps us in other subjects. I think GS2, GS1, all of these um, papers are very easily doable. I won't say easily doable, but they are manageable if you have studied law. It also improves our writing skills, and I believe so.
And
So
then,
I
in fact, I used to argue also, I might have told you also that all the major editorial that you see in The Hindu are invariably by lawyers, right?
right, right,
All the
sir.
nice editorial with regard to any topic, be it economics, be it, political science, anything, right? It's a fundamental degree, they are lawyers, right? So that is, one thing. If you give get a knack for writing, precise and good answers, right? So
Right, sir.
I also believe that. Now that's good. Okay, so that will be all, Anmol. So thank you for coming. And yes, again, I will request you that whenever you are traveling to Delhi, I mean next week, 2 weeks, whatever, right? So whenever you are traveling to Delhi, so do come and take a half hour or so classes like Kritika did and all. Every year I
Yes.
call the topmost people that you come and give a sort of a lecture that okay how to go about it, okay, how
All
to
right.
study different topics, right? Some very small, at least they can answer your query. They will be quite helpful then. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll do that.